Is not an alien force already among us?
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
From some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe.
Welcome to S4.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to S4, the official radio broadcast of Forest Moon Paranormal, with host Eric Cooper and our panel of enlightened minds. Coming to you live from FMP headquarters located in the heart of Skagit Valley, Washington, at the base of the majestic North Cascade Mountains. We will take you through a journey of exploration as we examine every aspect of the metaphysical. From spirits, UFOs, Bigfoot, and conspiracies, to grounding, protection, astral travel, and everything in between, leaving you with a better understanding and comprehension of the world around you, and the entities that inhabit it. Join us every Saturday night at Spreaker.com and locally on KSVU 90.1. Don't forget to check out our new webpage at www.s-4radio.com. Now sit back, open your mind, get ready. This is S4.
Good evening or morning, depending where you are, and welcome to S4, the voice of Forest Moon Paranormal, coming to you live from the FMP headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains in Concrete, Washington. FMP is a highly active emergency response team for all aspects of the paranormal, from aggressive hauntings to alien interaction, Bigfoot and other cryptids, and everything in between is terrifying. S4 is the voice where we discuss these things in detail. Not only can you find S4 right here on Spreaker, but for our local listeners, also on KSVU 90.1 FM from 10 to 12 Saturdays with our pre-recorded shows. So, folks, tonight it's the 11th of May already. Can you believe it? And tonight we have special guest Christopher McCarthy, a presidential candidate running for 2020. He is a 17-year Army veteran. He's running without a party, just running for the people. And tonight we're going to discuss his paranormal experiences, who Christopher McCarthy is, and what are his thoughts on government disclosure, and what about Bigfoot and other issues presidents really don't think about, and how is he going to change the country. So tonight with us we have Colwig Leitner, our FMP Lore and Culture Research Specialist and owner of Statement of Sound DJ Services. We have Brent Dodge, our FMP Astral, and our Keith Andrews, our Alien Race Specialist. So how are we all doing tonight?
Oh, we're still breathing. How about you?
I'm breathing as well. Barely, because it's hot as hell here.
Yeah, we got all kinds of rain here, so my joints are aching.
So before we begin, we got to say Happy Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day. Well, in an hour, it'll be today. And last week we said we're going to do a Mother's Day show, and so last night Christopher McCarthy said, and I'm not sure how I got it, but you've been sending me these messages with your videos, and I get so many messages from people. A lot of times I ignore them, but I looked at it last night and I was like, "Oh, wow, he's a presidential candidate. We got to give him a platform and see what he's about." So I sent him a message last night and got him booked for the show tonight, and here we are.
Yeah, I just want to send a Mother's Day shout out to my daughter, who is a brand new mother, and this is her first Mother's Day.
Oh, outstanding!
So, happy Mother's Day, Jordan.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Happy Mother's Day. So, tell us.
So,
No, I'm thinking. So, who is Christopher McCarthy, and what got you thinking about running for president?
Well, I was born in the poor side of Boston. I mean, I grew up in the slums. Most times we had no food. I struggled, and I wanted to be an astronaut, but when I excelled in science, math, and physics, and geology, and went to go to high school for prep school, and they said, we don't think so. Your kind ain't going nowhere. So we'll send you to trade high. What they actually meant by that, hell, yeah, I don't know. I was living in the poor side of town, so. But I got married in 78, and I had my firstborn in 79, and my second, and I joined the Army in 80, and had my second in the military in 81. And I spent 17 years in it. I served the country. I love this country. And it's kind of broke my heart, what I've seen, what it's turned into. I used to call me a dinosaur, old Army. But what really broke the straw that broke the camel's back was his budget report. I did a little research on the budget report, and I realized that we were all totally messed over by 2026. And I was going to run in 2016, and my daughter said, no, somebody's going to try to assassinate you because you just care too much for the people. So I backed out, but when I saw that budget, I said, I can't. I got to run. I'm running for the people. I'm running for people because nobody's looking out for the little guys. We got, between 2017 and 2018, we lost 5 million homes. None of them been rebuilt. Thousands of jobs have been destroyed. None of them been rebuilt. Schools, churches, all these places have been destroyed. Nothing's been rebuilt. We're still having mass storms coming in, and everybody says climate change isn't real. Mm-hmm. And I said, you got to be kidding me. Ask those people who've just lost everything. And yet we got a president up there swears up and down there's nothing happening.
And yet you guys down in Pennsylvania, from what I understand, they actually proved that the attitude of people affects the weather. Or more to the point, affects the plant life.
Say it again?
I said back about 20 years ago, down in Pennsylvania, they actually proved beyond a shadow of doubt that the attitude of people affects the growth of plants. And as we know, the growth of plants will determine the stability of the area around you.
Well, that's true. I mean, certain plant life, yes. But you also got to remember, in Pennsylvania, they've had that coal fire. I lived in Pennsylvania for quite a while. They've had coal fire underground for almost 20 years now. So that could also be a problem. That's been burning forever, and even the trees are all black. When I went hunting, you didn't eat the lungs or the heart or the liver of a deer because it was all full of black. Mm-hmm. So, but people there, it is true though. If you have a bad attitude, it does affect plants. But if you continue to slash and burn, it's not going to make any difference. If you continue to pump hydrocarbons into the air, it's going to make no difference. All the plant life in the world can only take so much of that out of the air. And now we have, firestorms, and we got hurricanes of unimaginable proportions. We had two inland hurricanes this year, and they were up there in the northwest, with 71 below zero. When you have tornado storms, or swarm tornadoes, and you have flooding of unimaginable proportions, like Texas was just hit with over 15 inches of rain, something they only see in hurricanes. I don't know, guys. Seems to me there's something going on with the climate.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's about 10,000 years out of sync, but it is normal.
Yeah, but not this fast. Geology, geology and paleontology says yes, this happens, but not at this rate, not at this speed.
No, what's causing that is the amount of aggression on the planet is what's accelerating it, quite frankly. And this is where people figuring out how that virtually everybody on this planet is human in the first place, not different races, but different nationalities. Once people realize everybody wants the same thing, and I don't mean they want to control the world. I mean, people on the whole want to be respected.
Of course. Everywhere I've gone across the world, it's always the same thing. They want to survive. They want to be respected. They want to live their lives the way they understand it. I mean, when you learn a language, you learn the people. When you learn the people, you realize, to be totally honest, they're not all that different. They want to, they love, they cry, they mourn, they have children that they want to see to excel. They want to have safety, and they want to be able to provide for their families. It's a basic thing across the planet. Take away one of those, and you've got chaos. In 1991, we were alerted, when I was out there, and I was talking to the Arab and African nations. They were all talking about one thing that seemed to be a very common problem: water. Without water, they couldn't grow. Without growing, they couldn't feed their cattle or their sheep or anything. We knew this was a powder keg. In 91, we alerted, our superiors that we have a problem. We knew that the Arab Spring was going to happen any time. It was just a matter of time. People were so desperate, sooner or later something was going to happen. And it did.
So Christopher, question brought up in the chat room. All the big parties, all the big candidates have all these financial backers. How are you going to back your candidacy?
Money is money. Votes are votes. People hear me, people listen to me, understand what I'm about, and I have their support. Will I win or not? That would be arrogant to say I would. It's up to the voters. Money can't buy votes. Votes, make elections. I will be driving across the country, as soon as I get a trailer suitable. But I believe in the people. I believe this nation was built on everybody having the right to their own opinion, their own vote. Money can't buy everybody. Although somebody did tell me one time, an insurance company that wanted to try to sell me insurance, when they said, "Why are you bothering? That we can buy the votes anyway." I said, "What? That's a federal offense. Didn't you know that?" But money has been pumped into this. It's caused corruption. It's caused deceit, lies, and it's caused power-mad people. And it's about time it goes. About time money gets out of the politics.
And I would agree, but
the money makes it so people can hear you.
Yeah, my problem would be, Republicans and Democrats will always rule the world. As long as we have states that won't let independent parties, the Constitutional Party, you have all these other parties that are non-Republican, non-Democrat, but they're not allowed to go on the ballot because certain states won't allow them. How do we get around that?
How do we get around that? It's called constitutional law. To defy the emplacement of a person on the ballot is defying the Constitution. And according to the Constitution, that is rebellion against the Constitution, which entails treason and all kinds of crazy things. And Article 6 of the Constitution says the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to play that with me. Yes, they have been trying to play that with me. Only, they don't realize the kind of person they're dealing with. I don't take no for an answer. There's also something called a write-in ballot.
Right, okay. I got you.
So,
So you're officially a candidate, and I'm assuming
exactly.
when they start doing their the question and answer period on the CNN, and they have all the candidates. I assume you're going to be invited and asked to come up and answer the questions too, right?
I would go if they'd ask me. I've requested to be questioned. I sent them all invitations to let me come on.
Okay.
They're afraid of somebody like me because all these companies are owned by millionaires and billionaires. Mm-hmm. And I have a tax plan that they're not going to like. So probably they'll shy away from somebody like me because I'm one of the people. And that is the most dangerous president to have, is somebody of the people.
I agree.
That is the most... It is the most dangerous person to have, and corporate America is terrified of somebody like that.
So Trippin's in the chat.
The Republicans and Democrats are terrified because they know that their game is up.
And, so the last election, I put my vote in Jill Stein because I wasn't going to vote for Trump or Clinton. And she made 13% of the vote, I believe. At least in Washington State, she did. Which says people are tired of the main two parties. The Independent Party actually made a significant amount. Now, Tripp's got... Okay, disregard. So, Tripp had a question for Craig. Never mind. So, what is... You talk about the tax plan. What's your tax plan?
Simple. You make it $500,000 to $1 million, 35%. $1 million to $500 million, 50%. $500 million up, 70%. How much is enough? I mean, if they can't live off of that, that is not asking too much.
I agree.
They have not paid taxes in how many decades? If they can't live off of that, I'm sorry. They're just going to have to get over it. Because I want my free education. I want my free medical. I want to rebuild the country. And I can't do that without those taxes. I know a president that I served under in the Gulf War who said, read my lips, no new taxes. And then reality hit. He had to raise taxes. See? It's just a matter of,
infrastructure.
What's that?
I said the sad part is the taxes are required for the infrastructure.
Right. Well, our infrastructure is falling apart.
Oh, totally.
I mean, our bridges are all in a C rating. At the best is a C rating, the worst is a D rating. All our nuclear power plants are at 20 years out of date. I mean, they passed their expiration date by 20 years. They only have so many years that they're good for, and then they're 20 years beyond that. I mean, we need to turn around and start focusing more on, wind, solar, and hydrothermal power. We need to turn around and replace these water pipes that are poisoning people. There are things that has to be done. There's no doubt in my military mind. These things have to be done. And the only way to do that is with taxes. Because I'm not going to ask the common man to turn around and shell out of their pocket they can't afford. When you got millionaires and billionaires that have been sitting in mansions forever. I get the better car, the better plane, the better house.
Of course, here's the other can and worm in the can, if you will. But what do you do with the number of, well, frankly, and I know this is opening a can of worms, but the number of churches that are out there that are supposed to be helping the people, and you take a look at the number of poor people on the street that are being turned away by churches or other organizations.